Phoenix.
Finding yourself skipping your self-care routine, experiencing things around you others don't, or withdrawing from friends and family. You might be experiencing first episode psychosis, or FEP. Stress, trauma, substance use, even genetics can trigger it. And if you're in your late teens to mid-20s, it's impacting you more than others. Know the signs of FEP. Go to learnmorefep.org. Sponsored by MatForce, working to build healthier communities.
Hi, I'm Brian, your friend and jeweler here at Shane Company. Come on in, feel at home, and let's find your dream engagement ring. I'm proud to work with customers first and lets them shop the way they want to. See, we believe shopping for an engagement ring should be fun without any of the pressure. We don't work on commission, so finding your dream ring is truly on your terms. We'll be right by your side as your friend and jeweler to help you find a ring more beautiful than you imagined and stick to your budget too. We have all of the styles and all of the smiles. You can even watch our in-house jewelers working their magic inside your neighborhood store. It's that kind of care and craftsmanship that makes Shane Company's free lifetime warranty the best in the business, saving you thousands over time and giving you peace of mind. No appointment necessary, or check us out at shaneco.com. Because a friend knows when you're ready, you're ready. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Hey, it's Austin Clark, owner of Moxie Pest Control. You know, most pest control companies use the same products we do. That's not the difference. But what is the difference is how we treat people. At Moxie, kindness counts, and it shows in every visit, every conversation, and every one of the 6,500 plus five-star Google reviews our customers have written. Our field experts aren't just trained to handle pests. They're trained to treat your home, your family, your pets, and your time with the kind of respect you deserve. And our services come with a pest-free guarantee. Our methods and service just work better because our people are better. So if you want a pest control company you can trust in and around your home, give us a call. We offer same-day services in most cases, and we'll even give you 50% off your first service when you call. Call 888-MOXIE-10. That's 888-MOXIE-10. Moxie Pest Control, the highest and most reviewed pest control company in Arizona.
The summertime deals are still heating up at Mark Kia. Right now, receive 0% APR for up to 60 months on a brand new 2025 Kia EV6.
That's right, 0%. The name to remember, Mark Kia. Mark Kia. This is the deal you've been waiting for. Offer through Kia Motors Finance. Offer expires August 4, 2025.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe, Phoenix, and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale, Phoenix. It's the lunch break.
Another dropped game in the standings for the Arizona Diamondbacks. How much pressure is on Mike Hazen over the next 9 days? And while we all want to move on to the next chapter of the Phoenix Suns, it feels like we keep getting tugged backwards. All of that, the focus of this, the Tuesday edition of the Lunch Break here on KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert with you for the next 2 hours on the program. Producer Evan is behind the glass taking your phone calls. 480-864-1060 is your way to join us. You can also watch the program over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. Let's jump right into it. The Diamondbacks opened up a series last night with the Houston Astros and unfortunately proved a very important lesson.
Time for our top story of the day. It's the Daily Special.
The reason why I opened yesterday's show being the wet blanket, being the negative Nancy, is because I understood that the margin for error on this team right now was slim. You could even argue that there is no margin for error, because how good did you feel Sunday afternoon, late Sunday evening? How good did you feel yesterday with the Arizona Diamondbacks coming off of a sweep of the St. Louis Cardinals? You felt good. You felt excited. You wondered if maybe they had a run in them before the trade deadline on July 31st. And then last night, you were quickly brought back to reality. One game, a loss to the Astros, dropped a game in the standings. The team now sits 5.5 games out of the last wild card spot in the National League. They can't continue to play this way. They can't continue to have days where they drop games in the standings. And I understand how high of a bar that is, how maybe unfair it is to set that expectation on a team that now, after last night's game, sits 50-51. But you know what? You want to be a playoff team? You want to be a buyer at the deadline? You don't want to trade Eugenio Suarez, who, by the way, hit another home run last night, 3 straight games with a home run for Eugenio Suarez. You don't want to trade Josh Naylor. You don't want to trade Merrill Kelly and or Zac Gallen. You think it's unfair to expect this team to win every single night? Well, guess what? If they want to be the team that you want them to be, if they want to be the team that they think they can be, what did Eugenio Suarez say after the game on Sunday? We want to make it really difficult on Mike Hazen in the front office. We want to make it challenging on them, a tough decision. Guess what? Games like last night make it very, very simple for Mike Hazen and the Arizona Diamondbacks, because every game this team loses, every game this team drops in the standings, makes it simpler and simpler for Mike Hazen to pull the ripcord, to hit the emergency button, and for this team to be a seller. Once again, back below 500. Once again, dropped another game in the standings. And great, we may seesaw back and forth this week. This team cannot afford a seesaw. This team can only afford a run. And I'm not talking 3 games. I'm not talking 4 games. I'm not talking 5 games. This team has to go on a run of 9 of 10. This team has to go on a run of 14 of 15. That's the type of run they would have needed to put together to avoid what's coming in 9 days. You've watched this team. You've spent money going to the ballpark probably. You've moved other plans around to sit and watch the Arizona Diamondbacks this season. Has there been anything that this team has shown you this season that tells you that they would be capable of that kind of run? It's unfair, yes, but the margin for error is 0. It doesn't exist. Because you barely left the door open last night. You barely put yourself in a position to drop a game. But you lost 1 game to the Houston Astros, and that was all that was needed for you to slide back to 5.5 games out of a wild card spot. And you still have those 4 teams in front of you. You still have to pole vault all of those teams. And guess what? You have 9 days to put yourself in a better situation. You have 9 days to change your outlook. You have 9 days to change the 5.5 games back that you are. I'm sorry. The math isn't mathing. We are getting very close to the Diamondbacks being more games out of a playoff spot than there are days until the trade deadline. That should be the last straw. It's an arbitrary thing, but I think it tells the story. I think it proves the point. The end of this week, over the weekend, there's a chance the Diamondbacks could be more games out of a wild card spot than there are days until they would have to make the decision to trade Eugenio Suarez, to trade Zac Gallen, to trade Merrill Kelly, to trade Josh Naylor. Do you think over the next 4 days, things are going to change? You're facing a really good Astros team. They proved it last night. You make mistakes, Zac Gallen. You throw stuff right down the middle, Zac Gallen. You're going to get crushed against a good baseball team like the Houston Astros. Jumped on you early. Tacked on the insurance runs late. And all it took was one. One game, the first opportunity since the second half started. First time the Diamondbacks slipped up in the second half. Boom, dropped the game in the standings. The previous 3 days, when they swept the Cardinals, they didn't open the door. They didn't give those teams an opportunity to grow the lead. By winning, you take that off the table. But the moment you lost, what happened? You dropped the game. That's how razor thin this is. This is why on Monday, I did not change my tune yesterday. Just watch. Just look at them. Look at the team that played last night. Look at the team that they're playing on the other side in Houston. Look at the way everybody else is playing. The Cardinals, the team directly in front of you, there's talks about them being sellers at the deadline. And there are some of you out there that are still holding on hope. More power to you. I respect it, but I can't get there. I haven't been there for a while. I haven't been there since the middle of June with this baseball team. Probably before that. The warning signs have been there all season long. All year long. This has never looked like a playoff team. This has never looked like a buyer at the deadline. You had these quick flashes, quick glimpses. Those, you need more than that right now. This team can't just give us quick glimpses or quick flashes. We need more sustainable play. And unfortunately, the hourglass has run out of sand. There's just not enough time on the calendar. There's 9 days between now and the deadline. 9. That's it. They've got, 8 games between now and the deadline? 8 or 9 games between now and the deadline? It's not enough. That's not going to be a big enough sample size. Do you expect them to rattle off 8 straight wins? Because that's what it's going to take. It's going to take that type of effort, that type of stretch to maybe have Mike Hazen change his mind. Maybe reconsider his position going in to the deadline. Do yourself a favor today. Go on The Athletic. Go on ESPN.com. Go on MLB.com. Go wherever you get your baseball news. And go look at all the stories that are being written yesterday, today. Trade deadline previews. Best players available. Go and read all of them. They're all going to tell you the same story. They're all going to tell you the same narrative. And that is the Diamondbacks are sellers. The Diamondbacks will be moving on from players like Eugenio Suarez. ESPN this morning updated their top available players at the trade deadline. Eugenio Suarez is now the number 1 overall player available at the deadline, according to them. They moved him to that spot because, yes, he hit his I don't want to be disrespectful to Eugenio Suarez. 36th home run of the season? 37? What are we up to now? Just keeps crushing the baseball. The best hitter available at the trade deadline. Anywhere you look, anywhere you turn will tell you nobody thinks the Diamondbacks are going to be buyers at the deadline. Nobody thinks the Diamondbacks are going to be in a position to stand pat at the deadline. The story is very simple. Diamondbacks have played their way into being a seller. Nothing that happened over the weekend changed that. And last night is further proof that the margin for error is so slim. It's non-existent. Any loss can be the final blow, the final loss that puts this team firmly in the we're selling, we're finally taking the phone calls. And they're already taking phone calls. I saw a story this morning that the Mariners and Diamondbacks have had some dialogue on a Eugenio Suarez trade. So I get it. You don't want to give up until the final whistle. You don't want to give up until July 31st. 101 baseball games have been played. They're 500. Their record in one-run games, I saw this morning, one of the worst in all of baseball, bottom third of the league. I think they're like 11-20.
It doesn't surprise me.
In one-run games. They don't win the close games. Those are the breaks that have to go your way. The injury luck, yes, has to go your way. It hasn't this season. But as we have long said, do not allow 2025's problems to become 2026's problems.
I get it. The injury bug's been a problem. I get it. The ball doesn't always bounce your way. But it doesn't feel like they play winning baseball. They get thrown out on the base paths. Situational hitting has been a massive problem for them through the year. Obviously, the bullpen is something we've circled multiple times. That's a recipe for being a 500 baseball team. Those are the things that you say, oh, my team needs to get over the hump. They need a better bullpen. Situationally, I wish they were better. Less than 2 outs and runners in scoring position.
Do any of us watch the Arizona Diamondbacks and say it's unlucky of them to be a 500 baseball team? Do any of us watch the Arizona Diamondbacks and say, man, they should be a lot better than a 500 baseball team? Is there anybody out there who still thinks that when they watch? Because I don't. Maybe at the beginning of the season you thought that. Maybe when we got into the beginning of June, maybe you thought that. But the larger the sample size grows, it's pretty easy. This is who they are as a team. Now, yes, there are factors out of their control that have led to this point. Corbin Burns being hurt being out for the rest of the season, huge blow. Losing A.J. Puck and Justin Martinez, hard to overcome losing your 8th and 9th inning guys. I am not trying to excuse make for this team, but they have some pretty good ones built in that they can point to. But guess what? Excuses don't lead to wins. You don't get additional wins in the standings for every excuse that you have. You have to go out there and play. And this team, with their lack of reinforcements, with their lack of depth, their depth being tested, the injuries, when they've come, how they've come, have set this team up to be exactly what they are. This team is a 500 baseball team.
There's only 2 teams in the National League that have given up more runs than the Arizona Diamondbacks: the Colorado Rockies and the Washington Nationals.
Not the beacons of consistency in baseball this season, those 2 teams. Not 2 teams that you stop and are amazed at the way that those 2 teams are playing baseball this season in Washington and Colorado. That's the company you keep.
Both those teams fired their manager.
I would argue it's actually a surprise that the Diamondbacks have gotten to 500.
I would argue it's a massive surprise. With the games they've blown, I mean, think about it. We've talked about it. They had a player, they had 4 home runs in a game.
They lost that game.
They lost. They scored 10 runs in an inning. They lost that game. They've scored 11 runs 3 times, have lost all those games. That alone makes it surprising they're 500. In 5 games that I just listed to you, you're like, oh, those are wins.
None of them were.
None of them were.
And those are things that I would attach to the Colorado Rockies, the Chicago White Sox, the Pittsburgh Pirates, the Miami Marlins, the Washington Nationals. I would attach those things to those teams and say, yeah, well, of course, they're the Colorado Rockies. Or, oh, of course, they're the Pittsburgh Pirates. They're the Washington Nationals. Of course that happened to them. I don't say, of course that happened to them. They're the Arizona Diamondbacks. The margin for error doesn't exist. Last night should have proved it to you. Because at the first moment this team lost in the second half, they dropped the game in the standings. They can't afford nights like last night. You have to win out. You have to just keep winning. That's your only way. And even that might not be good enough to close the gap. That might not be good enough for them to pole vault teams. This is what happens when you dig yourself this big of a hole. And they dug themselves this hole. Not just because the 5.5 games or when last night started the 4.5 games. The bigger problem for me has always been the number of teams they need to leapfrog. If they're 5.5 out and they're the first team not in the playoffs, I could maybe make the case of, just stand pat. If they fall off, you get hot. You don't have to. You've only got to pass one team. You've got to pass St. Louis. You've got to pass Cincinnati. You've got to pass the Giants. You've got to pass the Padres. You've got to pass all of those teams. I'm sorry, it's just not happening. What makes you think this team's going to be able to do that? They're not. It's over. And last night should have cemented it for you. 480-864-1060, the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. We've also got you over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. When we come back, there is a holdout situation that continues to grow. The Cardinals need to pick up the phone. That's next. The lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
9 Inch Nails. Live at Footprint Center, September 16th. Get tickets now at NIN.com. 9 Inch Nails, live in Phoenix. Peel It Back World Tour 2025.
Everyone has a fave Wendy's Frosty flavor. And when you're choosing from chocolate or vanilla, it's not that hard. But now there's all new Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. So try picking your fave from Oreo Brownie Fusion, Pop-Tarts Strawberry Fusion, Strawberry Swirl, Brownie Batter Swirl, Caramel Swirl, and Caramel Crunch Fusion. Not so easy now, huh? For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
Participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours may vary by location. Oreo is a trademark of Mondelez International Group. Pop-Tarts is a trademark of Kellogg North America Co., LLC. Used with permission.
At Nationwide Vision, we make the back-to-school season crystal clear for you and your kids. With convenient scheduling and personalized treatment plans for the whole family, we keep things simple and stress-free, so your kids can face the day with confidence. Because vision shapes learning, and learning shapes life. Get 50% off a complete pair, and give your family the clarity to thrive in every part of their journey. Schedule an appointment today to find your focus at Nationwide Vision.
Hi, welcome to IKEA.
Hey, I'm moving into my dorm soon, and I don't know where to start.
You're in the right place. IKEA family members save up to 15% off college essentials to help you feel right at home.
Okay, wow. Maybe you can help me pick my classes too?
Furniture is more my thing.
Fair.
Visit us in-store or online from 7/1 to 8/5 for more details. Offer valid 7/1 to 8/5/25. U.S. only while supplies last. Selection may vary. See store and IKEA-USA.com/ready-for-college for details. Restrictions apply.
I'm Jim Rome with your Rome Report. For a guy seeking the meaning of life and determining that golf is not it, Scotty Scheffler is pretty damn good at golf. Now, it is Scheffler or the field. He's that good. Like it used to be Tiger Woods or the field. And yes, the Scheffler v. Woods comparisons have begun. And listen, I'm not saying that Scheffler is in the same category as the Cat, but what is legit? If you look at where Scheffler is right now compared to where the Cat was at that same age, the numbers really are similar. No, Scheffler does not transcend the sport the way Tiger did with his force of personality. Then again, Scheffler will never be caught running around with a waitress from Perkins or wrapping his rig around a tree while being chased out of his own house by his own wife with a 9 in her hands. Scheffler is not that Cat, nor is he the actual Cat, at least not yet. But he may be before he's done. And for now, it is Scheffler and then everybody else. I'm Jim Rome. Remember, you can follow me on the gram at Jim Rome.
O'Reilly. Check engine, ABS, or maintenance light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we could recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KDUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends, celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us.
We are debuting something new in hour number 2 of the program, with many teams reporting for training camp the end of last week into this week. You're seeing all those social media videos of players showing up to camp, and notably the players that are not showing up to camp, and that's the topic of conversation here about Trey Hendrickson. But at 12:15 today, we're going to do this moving forward. And we figured this week would be a good week to debut this because football is going to be back in the news. 12:15 every Tuesday, the NFL News Dump. So just a bunch of NFL stories that we want to touch on, kind of like an NFL version of The Leftovers. So we do the NFL News Dump every Tuesday, 12:15. So the first rendition of that comes later on today. Now, I know many of you out there are wondering. You're questioning. You're thinking to yourself, Chris, you have not addressed it yet to start the program here. Nearly a half an hour in. Yes, it happened yesterday. Actually, it happened this morning. Went on a run this morning. We are up, ready to go. Ran about 1.5 miles this morning.
How'd it go? How'd it feel?
I'll tell you, I felt out of shape. I felt like somebody who hadn't run a mile or had done any type of training like that in a little bit. It wasn't all running. I think I've explained the way that the training is working for this, but it was good to get out there. It was good to get the blood flowing. Probably do it again tomorrow. I'm supposed to take every other day off, but I felt good. I may just get up and do maybe a light jog for a little bit tomorrow.
I like it.
But it has happened. The app, I can show you the app and that the run occurred. My family can vouch for it because I woke them up this morning when the alarm went off as early as it did. I can confirm that it started.
That's big because people were asking questions and you didn't want to have to answer them.
Well, rightfully so.
Shut it down. Though.
Right. Rightfully so, the questions were going to be asked. And rightfully so, I didn't have a good answer up until this point. I was kind of dodging it. But we got on the board today with a run. So we are on pace to potentially at some point before the end of the year get into that marathon. I mentioned training camp starting in the NFL. I mentioned teams starting to report. One person who's not reporting, one person who's not there at training camp, released a picture on social media of him in Florida, would be Bengals edge rusher. At least he's currently a Bengals edge rusher. I don't know for how much longer that will be the case. Trey Hendrickson, not reporting to camp amid his contract dispute with the Cincinnati Bengals. And him not showing up to camp is exactly what he told us was going to happen. He has been very transparent about this. I'm not playing on this deal. I'm not playing under this contract. We reworked my deal a year ago, changed the money a little bit, okay, all in the idea under the guise that this year the deal would get ripped up and a new one would be put together. Well, that hasn't happened. And you had the owner of the Cincinnati Bengals, Mike Brown, meet with the media yesterday, and boy, did Mike Brown say some things. We'll get into that during the NFL news dump. But one of the things he did talk about with Trey Hendrickson is that he thought things were close, that he thought things were progressing in the right direction. And this is then Trey Hendrickson posting the social media post that he is in Florida. Well, if things were going well, perhaps Trey Hendrickson would be nearby, ready to report to camp. Him being completely away from everything. Now, I know it's a quick flight, a couple hours, but does not seem like things are progressing in the right direction. And if things don't progress, it does feel like ultimately this will end in Trey Hendrickson playing elsewhere. Now, normally, and I think I've said this in the past, when it comes to these holdouts or hold-ins or contract disputes, we got to get the calendar into August before I start taking them seriously. We've got to get really close to games being missed before I start to actually think that something's going to really bad happen here, like Hassan Reddick last year with the Jets, right? Carrying his holdout into the season. We got to go pretty far up to the beginning of the season before I start to get worried, because more often than not, these things tend to solve themselves just in the nick of time, right? Just when you need them to get solved, they get solved. This one feels different. This one feels different because this isn't just 1 year of this disagreement. This is 2 years of this disagreement. This is Trey Hendrickson making it very clear. I'm not playing on this deal. And guess what? I believe him. I believe that this isn't a game of chicken from Trey Hendrickson. You either put a brand new deal in front of him or he's not playing. So that led me to this question this morning. Do the Arizona Cardinals pick up the phone? I know it's against everything that Monty believes in. The big move, the big splash, until they got Josh Sweat, wasn't part of the way Monty operated. But that ESPN story that we referenced yesterday on the program talked about the biggest X factor for all the teams, the story that ranked the Cardinals with the 17th best roster going into the season. They listed Josh Sweat as the biggest X factor. The reason why? They asked which version of Josh Sweat are the Cardinals going to get? The guy that thrived under Jonathan Gannon, or the guy that, let's face it, has had some mediocre results in the past? Well, guess what? You know how you solve that problem? You know how you take Josh Sweat being an X factor off the table? You go out and trade for a guy who's piled up 35 sacks over the last 2 seasons. You know how you strengthen something that could use a little bit of a boost? Not a big boost. Josh Sweat was the big boost, but could use just a cherry on top. You go out and trade for Trey Hendrickson, a guy who 2 years ago led the league in sacks with 17.5, and then matched that production last season. Do I think it's going to happen? No. Do I think they're going to even pick up the phone? No. But the longer this goes, the more I get enthralled with the idea of just calling up Cincinnati and saying, well, what's it going to take? You don't want to pay him. Would you take a 3? Do you need a day 2 pick? Does it got to be a first rounder? Do you really want to let this play into the season? I think if I'm Monty, again, all the expectations this season, at least here locally, are this team's supposed to be good. This team's supposed to be playoff eligible this year. The national media says you're not good enough. The national media says you're the 17th best roster. We're going to talk about it in the NFL News Dump. The Athletic ranked them with the 22nd best roster, said not going to make the playoffs, said it in the blurb. So the national media says you're not good enough. The national media says this roster isn't in a position to make the playoffs. You think this team does need to make the playoffs. You know that not making the playoffs this year means we're going to have questions about the quarterback crisis on our hands next offseason. The hot seat's going to get warmer for Jonathan Gannon next offseason if they don't make the playoffs. The seat's going to get warmer for Monty Ossenfort if this team doesn't make the playoffs this season. So why leave it up to chance? Why not view Trey Hendrickson's potential availability as the golden ticket? Why not look at it and say, we didn't look at this in the offseason. We didn't really actively pursue this, but this just continues to be a thing. The best organizations, the best GMs, they capitalize on moments like this. They capitalize when a team is backed into a corner. Well, guess what? The days keep going by. We get closer and closer to the regular season. Cincinnati's starting to get backed into a corner. And oh, by the way, they're dealing with another situation on their hands with Shamar Stewart. Again, I don't want to get anybody's hopes up. I don't want anybody to start thinking that this is a possibility. We're living in fantasy land right now. I think it's okay to live in fantasy land before the season has started. Then the season starts, reality smacks us all in the face, and we no longer are in fantasy land. We've woken up from the dream. The offseason, this is where we dream. This is where you dream of what this team can be. And I am dreaming of a team that looks a lot better on paper and looks a lot better on the field on Sundays and Mondays and Thursdays with Trey Hendrickson and Josh Sweat tag teaming off the edge on both sides, creating havoc against Brock Purdy 2 times a year, havoc against Sam Darnold 2 times a year.
I want to say this. They had Trey Hendrickson. I don't think there's an expert that doesn't like them to make the playoffs.
You ready for this? They added Trey Hendrickson today. You should pick them to win the division.
I agree.
That's how much of an impact this player would be to this team. It would close the gap that I think exists right now between the team that I would pick to win the division, the Los Angeles Rams, and the Arizona Cardinals. And it's not an official prediction. We'll do our official predictions probably next month to get those on record before the season starts. It's our first full season here on the program. We started in the middle last year, so pretty excited about all of that. You trade for Trey Hendrickson today, I would pick the Cardinals to win the division and host a home playoff game. That's how much of a difference maker Trey Hendrickson would be. That's how much of a difference maker he would be to this roster. No slight to Josh Sweat. Great signing, something they had to do, the right move. They did the right thing. They paid Josh Sweat. They didn't overpay him. They got him on a good deal. Perfect. Great move. Raised the floor of that group. Trey Hendrickson, that's a different ballpark. That's a different zip code, ladies and gentlemen. That changes things dramatically. So just keep an eye on it. I'm not saying it's going to happen. In fact, I don't think it's going to happen. But boy, I woke up this morning, saw that he posted that he was in Florida. This still ongoing. Doesn't look like they're going to come to a resolution anytime soon. And I just started to wonder, man, how great of a move would it be for Monty if he just out of nowhere pulled that off?
What do you think they'd have to give up? Is it a first?
I don't think at this point, since Cincinnati can ask for a first and get it.
I agree. I think it'd be a second and maybe another pick down the line, maybe a couple seconds.
Could they have gotten a first before the draft? I think so.
I think they could have gotten a first in this year's draft, yeah.
I think they could have gotten a first before the NFL draft for Trey Hendrickson. But now the leverage isn't on their side. Right? I mean, Trey has requested a trade twice, I believe. Requested one last year, requested one again this offseason.
And it feels as if the more they wait, the less they'll get.
The more they wait, the less they'll get. Absolutely, 100%. The more they wait, the harder it becomes for them to get any actual value. Now, again, what is the likeliest outcome? They somehow come to terms on a deal. Do I think it will happen, though? Right now, I'm 50-50. Like, Trey may take this into the season. Now, that never works out for the player. But I think he is convicted that he's not playing on this one-year deal, that he's going to take this into the season, if it got to that point. 480-864-1060, the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. You can also join us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream, where Eric brought us the sad news, and then I had to go confirm it on social media that Ozzy Osbourne passed away, 76 years old. Now, I wasn't a huge Ozzy fan growing up, but my dad loved that type of hard rock music. So Ozzy and his stuff was on in the car quite a bit. And so I had that kind of bond and memory with my dad when it comes to Ozzy and that type of genre of music. But a very sad day. Very sad day to lose Ozzy. But huge personality, reality shows. See, that's what I know him more from. The reality shows that he had. Now, that's not
100%.
I know who he is, but
and I know that's crazy, but for somebody my age,
right.
I feel like I've seen him more on the TV than I have on anything else.
Right. You think of him more as a TV personality than you do a music icon, a music star.
Even though that's what he is known for.
That shows our age. Me being the elder statesman of this program, and I turn 31 next month. So we don't have a big history backlog that we can go back to here, right? We've been alive since 94. So, but yeah, very sad news that Ozzy passed away today at the age of 76, a music legend, a music icon. When we come back, is there pressure on Mike Hazen with 9 days to go until the deadline? We'll talk about it next. It's the lunch break, KDUS, AM 1060.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind. Oh, my. Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays, 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Jaw-dropping stunts, high-flying tricks, heart-pounding excitement. Nitro Circus is back. The all-new off-the-rails tour. Gravity-defying thrill seekers and world-class daredevils at the top of their game. FMX, BMX, skate, scooter, and everything in between. Experience all new competitions that pit the best against the best in never-been-done showdowns. Nitro Circus. Friday, December 5th. Desert Diamond Arena. Join the action at Ticketmaster.com.
Hi. I'm Andrew the Homebuyer. Selling your house right now the traditional way isn't so easy. The average home is taking months to sell. Fortunately, I can help. I'll come to your home and give you a cash offer within minutes. Then we can close in under 5 days. And I'll make sure you get as much money for your house as possible. Call me, Andrew the Homebuyer, today, and let's get your home sold. Visit AndrewTheHomebuyer.com. That's AndrewTheHomebuyer.com.
At Cox, we're always a step ahead, like your dog who barks before the doorbell rings. Senses trouble before there's trouble, like advanced security that blocks online threats before they happen and knows when the peanut butter's hiding medicine. That's why we keep surprises off your bill. With Price Lock, the price of your internet and mobile plan won't go up for up to 3 years guaranteed. Rates are Berkalot. Cox, a step ahead. Requires at least 500 megabits per second speeds and gig unlimited mobile. Taxes and fees excluded from Price Lock. Mobile data speeds reduced after 20 gigs.
Hey, it's Big Cap from the Pardon My Take podcast. If you're looking for a drink that keeps the fun going without weighing you down, pick up some Truly Hard Seltzer. It's crazy refreshing, comes in tons of different flavors, and has only 100 calories per serving. Truly makes it easy to keep the fun going with your crew, which is exactly why it's the official hard seltzer of Pardon My Take. Whether you're out with friends, hosting a game day at home, or just kicking back, grab a Truly Hard Seltzer. Pick it up at your local Total Wine, Walmart, or Circle K, because there's always a lot of party left, Phoenix.
This is Desert Diamond West Valley, where there's next level action and jackpot winning smiles all around. So get your shine on, light up the room, show us what it's all about. It's the $250,000 Heat is Rising Thursdays in July, 3 to 7 p.m. 2 hourly winners take home red hot cash from $1,000 up to $250,000. It's time to live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino West Valley.
An enterprise of the Donna Alden Nation.
Hey, Tempe, your new Sam's Club is opening soon.
I love the savings that Sam's Club has to offer.
It makes it easy to feed a family of 5.
That gas pump there is amazing. The scan and go option just sets Sam's Club apart.
Today's the day to join the club. Your club, Sam's Club.
This fall, choose Primavera Online, and you'll be choosing a school with flexibility, personalized support, and an award-winning curriculum that's over 20 years strong. Now enrolling grades K to 12 at chooseprimavera.com.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alicio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alicio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. Here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
We are 9 days away from the Major League Baseball trade deadline, and the Arizona Diamondbacks are at the center of things. They have the number one bat available at the deadline in Eugenio Suarez, and even though the Diamondbacks aren't currently playing, producer Evan, you may want to check, he may have hit another home run in a game that's going on someplace else. That's how good Eugenio Suarez has been as of late. He can hit home runs in games that he's not even playing in. The number one bat available, some high-quality pitching arms, although with the way that he's pitching as of late, I wonder if Zac Gallen's trade value is about as low as it gets. We'll touch on that in hour number 2 of the program. And so Mike Hazen has to navigate all of this. And longtime listeners of this program, those of you who are with us every single day, I'm going to sound like a broken record to you right now. You know how much I appreciate, how much I respect the job that Mike Hazen has done as the GM here. How I think out of all of the executives here in town, he is number one on my list, and it's not even close. And he has been number one on my list very quickly into his tenure as the D-backs GM. I think he's done a fantastic job building something really sustainable here in Arizona. And so when I saw a story on The Athletic this morning that listed out 6 executives, 6 front offices that were under the most pressure this MLB trade deadline, I'll be honest, I clicked on the story expecting Mike Hazen's name to be on this list. And I expected his name to be on this list just because of the sheer volume of players that he has to trade at the deadline, at how involved he is going to be. Every team is going to check with Mike Hazen and the Arizona Diamondbacks before they make a move for another player. If they're interested in a bat, they're going to talk to the Diamondbacks. Maybe not right away, but at some point in their process, they are going to talk to Mike Hazen and the Arizona Diamondbacks to see where the price is on Eugenio Suarez, to see what the asking price is for Josh Naylor. They're going to check in. He is under a lot of pressure because he is going to be fielding so many phone calls. Is there anybody out there that's going to run up a phone bill more than Mike Hazen over the next 9 days? I'll wait because I don't think there's an answer. So there is pressure in that regard. But pressure, I think, in this instance is how the future is set up based on what you do this deadline, right? That's the way we would view pressure. Did you get the most for your assets? If you are a team like the Yankees or the Mets or the Cubs, and you're right there, you're on the doorstep of a championship. I exclude the Dodgers because they just won a championship. You're at the doorstep of winning a championship, right? Yankees went to the World Series last year. Mets in the NLCS last year. The Cubs spent a lot of money this offseason, traded for Kyle Tucker. They've got a nice team that's probably going to win that division. We know that when they actually try, they can go on a nice run in the postseason. You're on the doorstep. So there's pressure for those teams to put their team over the top. There's pressure to make that 1, 2, 3 moves that makes your team better. That's not the pressure that Mike Hazen is under. And so that got me to thinking, is Mike Hazen under pressure? Do we think his job is on the line based on what he does here at this deadline? If he doesn't get back a perfect return for these players, whichever players he trades at the deadline, is it going to mean his job is in jeopardy in the offseason? Does it mean his job is going to be in jeopardy in 2026? Everybody knows this team is going to take a small step back in 2026 at a minimum. Small step back. Now, I've been one of the few that is not willing to write off 2026 just yet, in large part because of what I think Mike Hazen's going to be able to swing here at the deadline. But pressure to me means stakes. It means there's a lot on the line here. And while I think 2026 does somewhat hang in the balance based on what Mike Hazen does here, I don't think his future's in jeopardy. I don't think the overwhelming long-term future of the Diamondbacks, and what I mean by that is 27, if we have that season, 28, 29, 30. I think they are still right on course. They're drafting really well. They're developing really well. Go look at their position player prospect pool. They don't have a ton of guys that are going to contribute in 2026. They have Jordan Lawler, but Tommy Troy might be 27, might be late 26. When does Drew Jones get in there? Gino Groover, where does he fit in? He profiles more maybe late 26, early 27. So again, they've got some nice pieces. They're 2 draft picks from a year ago. They're 2 draft picks from this year. They're building up a system to where 28, 29, 30, there's going to be names that are coming up and helping this team. So I don't think that's a reason to be under pressure. Are you under pressure because everybody's looking at you? Sure. They're going to be under a microscope because they have the piece everybody wants. Who doesn't want a guy that's on pace for 50 home runs this season? Who doesn't want somebody who overall in baseball is one of the 5 best hitters right now? Top 8 hitter right now? Home runs, RBIs, OPS.
Yeah, I mean, top 5 hitter over the last 3 months.
From a power perspective, one of the top 5 power hitters over the last 3 seasons, Eugenio Suarez.
Over the last season and a half, I think you could sit here and say he's a top 3 power hitter in baseball.
So is Mike Hazen under pressure? Perhaps. Depends on how you want to define pressure. I think his job is at stake at this deadline. No. Do I think there is pressure that if he nails this, if he hits a home run here, if he lands this plane and gets back a bunch of prospects that can help in the short term, that 2026 can be a season that is not just a throwaway like some people think? You want to put that pressure on him? Sure, because I think he can do it. But that doesn't mean it's going to be a failure if he doesn't do it. Going to be disappointed? I certainly will be. I certainly will be disappointed if they prioritize more beyond 2026. I certainly will think that was a misstep by them. But do I think that means Mike Hazen needs to go? Do I think that means Mike Hazen is bad at his job? No. I think that's just Mike Hazen looking at the situation and understanding that maybe I do need to take a small step back in 26 and gear up for 27 and beyond. That's the calculation he's making. I'm not willing to throw away a season right now. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. When we come back, the hottest takes in sports talk radio, buy or sell, coming up on the other side. It's the lunch break, KDUS, AM 1060.
James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Ghost World Tour 2025. Ghost Theatrical Heavy Metal Arena Rock. August 11th, Footprint Center. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Ghost.
When you're together and there's love and laughter, it's the perfect time to play. With new games like Strike It Rich and Instant Cash Scratchers from the Arizona Lottery, you can play for up to $500,000 in prizes. And every time you play, you're uplifting your community because a portion of every ticket sale goes back to vital programs in Arizona. So play for fun, to connect with friends and family, and of course, the chance to win big. Arizona Lottery. Love the play.
Oh, hey.
Hey, thanks for meeting me here. It's just, you're my only lawyer friend, and I need your professional opinion. Do you see that brand new Hyundai Tucson out there? That's all I paid for it.
Let me get back to you on that.
Deal's so right, it almost feels wrong. At the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Get 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days on all Hyundai Palisade, Santa Fe, and Santa Fe hybrid models. See your local Valley Hyundai dealer. Offers end July 31st. Call 714-568-7676 for details.
Bank of America is the nation's leading business lender, and we're ready to help with your next goal here in Phoenix. That's why we have over 3,700 local business specialists across the country. Because with the right team, your business and community prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Wrapping up hour number 1 here on the Tuesday edition of the Lunch Break. Chris Schubert with you here. Appreciate you joining us. It's the hottest takes in sports talk radio. They are brought to us from the producer of the program. And then I have to decide whether I am buying or selling these takes. Most of them make me want to rip my hair out because you make me go on record with things about 12 months before we're actually going to know the answer. But that's the fun of it. Buy or sell. Take it away, my friend.
One more addition would be the push that the Cardinals need to be a definite playoff team.
So one more addition. And you're talking major addition. You're not talking signing some depth backup punter. That's not what you mean.
I'm not talking about a third string guard.
I mean, listen, I said it earlier in this hour. If they added Trey Hendrickson to this team, and for those of you who are maybe just joining us, no, there's nothing linking the two sides. I'm just dreaming because this is what we're allowed to do this time of year. I'm dreaming that with what's going on in Cincinnati that maybe Trey Hendrickson needs to go someplace else and the Arizona Cardinals can be that place. I think if they landed him, they're the favorite to win the division. My humble opinion, I know many of you out there maybe have just driven off the road after what I just said because you watch this team and you're not ready to live in that world. They would be the division favorite for me if they did that. So if they made another move, maybe not to that caliber, but close, yeah, I think it would be that cherry on top that would really make them stand out to a lot of people. Because as we've noted many times, the national media, not where we are on this football team. National media may be a little behind where we think this team is. Now, maybe we're too close to it and they're not. That can go both ways, though. Sometimes because you're so far removed, you don't actually know what's going on.
And it's something we talked about yesterday, too. They're all over the place.
All over the map.
Interior defensive line is the best and their biggest strength or their worst weakness. They're all over the place. And so
I think it proves that that the Arizona Cardinals are in this bucket of franchises that I don't know if people have a consensus on. They don't know really what to do with them. And so it's going to take a little bit. It's going to be a bit of a learning curve. Don't be surprised when you see the think pieces written the first couple weeks into the season if the Cardinals get hot with the way their schedule breaks. Whoa, Cardinals, surprise team of 2025. And we'll say, no, you just weren't paying attention. You weren't watching this team closely.
It's like that was a buy or sell yesterday. The next week will be a massive factor in what the D-backs return is at the trade deadline.
What do you mean by that?
Eugenio Suarez needs to stay hot.
I think Eugenio Suarez is getting traded regardless. If he goes over,
on top of that, how things fold.
Well,
who's selling, who's buying.
I think Zac Gallen is not helping his trade value to the point where
not at all.
If a starter, and this is we're gonna open hour number 2 with this. Merrill Kelly is the starter that the Diamondbacks should move. He's the player, and I don't think I would have said this before the season. He's the guy that has more value right now. And we'll give you the numbers.
I actually think it's significantly more value.
Yes. And I think we talked about this with some of the players. which players would the Diamondbacks get less for than the compensatory pick? I think it's Zac Gallen. I think Zac Gallen actually brings back less than the compensatory pick, which is saying a lot about Zac Gallen. Yeah, I'll buy.
I think there's a lot of factors, right? It's not only performance, it's also
it's
how the market falls.
Yeah, which teams are interested? Like, do the Mariners all of a sudden just get like obsessed with the idea of a Eugenio Suarez reunion? And shout out to D-Back Stats and Info for pointing this out, because this is going to go back to a prediction that we made a little bit ago. The Mariners have 8 prospects in MLB Pipeline's top 100.
They do. It's the most.
We said some top 100 prospects could be on their way to Arizona. We got a little worried about that. Maybe not.
Maybe it was all of the teams that have the top are buyers this year, that have the most. The Phillies are up there with 6. The Mariners have 8. And I want to say there's another good team that has 7.
So you can definitely tap into those prospects if you want to make big moves here in the next 9 days.
Okay. If they are sellers at the deadline.
I bought, by the way.
Yes.
Okay.
We got that down. If they are sellers at the deadline, the D-backs could finish winning less than 80 games.
I want to do something as a group here. If it's okay with all of you, we can stop saying if. And I am the first person that needs to do this, right? Because this is my show. I'm the leader of the pack here. We're going to stop saying if they're sellers. They are going to be sellers over the next 9 days.
The D-backs could finish winning less than 80 games.
Well, they're going to trade one starter. They're going to trade Suarez. They may trade Naylor. I don't know what that market looks like just yet. I mean, it's going to be the offense that's going to carry them. You are losing your number one power bat. 80 games? No, I think they'll win more than that. Well,
it's going to be interesting.
500.
They technically don't have a hard schedule.
I mean, right now they're not on pace to win.
They're not. They're on pace
to be, what, 80 and 82?
80 and 82.
And now they're going to lose. No, I have to sell this. Read it again. Sorry, read it one more time.
D-backs could finish winning less than 80 games.
Buy.
So you need them to go 79 and 83.
Or worse.
But that's your market. 80 and 82, you don't hit. You got it?
I will continue to buy, yes.
Okay. Moving on to the basketball team. This might be the biggest prove-it year for Devin Booker, given how the roster is currently constructed.
I'm going to sell this. I see what you're hinting at, and I don't fully disagree. A lot's going to be on his shoulders because this is back to being his team for the first time in a long time. And I think he can win some people over. I don't know how many people he can win over, but I think he can win some people over by being that leader, and this team maybe playing better than expected, him having a return to form, right? If Jalen Green plays better paired next with him, if the rookies play really well, a lot of that, just because he's been here forever, a lot of that credit is going to flow to him and this being his team. But part of what you're talking about is directly related to expectations, and there are no expectations on this team. So I'm not willing to go that far. I'll sell.
It is interesting. He's going to have to carry a lot of the load. And I will tell you, the one thing I still feel is weird. In this town, Devin Booker is extremely polarizing. People love him. People hate him.
You are not in the middle on Devin Booker. You either love him or hate him. Put me in the camp that loves him. Put me in the camp that doesn't really understand the other side. But I would ride with Devin Booker for the next couple of seasons. By the way, yes, John, I see you over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube chat. I did go for a run. It was not yesterday. I did it this morning.
2 little baseball takes to finish it up. The Milwaukee Brewers, after winning 11 in a row, are serious World Series contenders.
Move over Pete Crow Armstrong. The real NL MVP is Andrew Vaughn. They have not lost since acquiring Andrew Vaughn from I believe it was the Chicago White Sox. Have not lost a game since acquiring Andrew Vaughn. I'm sorry, what was the take? I just wanted to get my Andrew
Brewers
Vaughn.
Are serious World Series contenders.
No.
I agree.
No,
they win 11 in a row. They have the best record in baseball. I don't think they're serious contenders.
I'll sell this. That division's pretty weak. Other than the Cubs, right? The Cincinnati and St. Louis are kind of battling it out. Pirates stink out loud. Brewers got to prove it to me.
They always do this where they're really good in the regular season and then they have a very quick exit in the postseason. So, no, I will sell this one.
Last one. They've been struggling as of late. Is it possible the Yankees could miss the playoffs?
No, we're not going to go that far. I know they lost to Toronto again last night. I know they're now, 4 games back of Toronto in that division. I know the Rays are right there. The Red Sox are right there. But if you look at the wild card race in the American League, and I actually did this yesterday, it's going to take a lot for that to happen. Like Texas has to get hot, and that's not happening. So, no, they're still going to make the playoffs. Hour number 1 of the program in the books. Hour number 2 right around the corner. We'll start talking about some Zac Gallen. Did he tank his trade value? That's next. The lunch break, KDUS, AM 1060.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
When you get hurt, you don't want to end up on the injured list. You want to get back in the game stronger than ever. At Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm, we fight for you, making sure big insurance doesn't throw you a curveball. With over $25 billion recovered, we're the home run hitters you need.
This is way out there and gone.
Morgan & Morgan, for the people. Proud sponsor of the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
The legacy continues. Pantera. The heaviest tour of the summer. Tearing up Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater, August 26th. With Amon Amarth. On sale now at LiveNation.com. Part of the America First Credit Union Concert Series.
Hi, Luis Gonzalez here. Want to bet? Feel the thrill of Casino Arizona with 1,400 of the hottest slots and nonstop table game action. We make winners, no experience necessary. Join us for the best bingo in the valley with daily sessions. Indulge in all-you-can-eat Eagles Buffet or enjoying fine dining experience at the award-winning Choya Steakhouse. Enjoy top-notch local entertainment, tribute bands, and viewing parties at CAZ Sports Bar, just off the 101 in McKellips. Casino Arizona, uniquely Arizona.
Did you catch Luisito's header? Yeah, I just recorded it on my new Samsung A36 5G phone I got for free at Total Wireless.
Oh, I'm actually live streaming the whole match with my new Samsung Tab A9 that I also got free at Total Wireless.
I got that tablet too.
And I got that phone too. We both got both. Go!
Switch to Total Wireless and get both the Samsung A36 5G and the Samsung Tab A9 for free. For a limited time while supplies last, valid in store. Requires new phone activation on the Total 5G Unlimited plan or higher external port and ID verification and new activation on the Total 5G Unlimited 6-month tablet plan. Restrictions apply.
That'll be 30 even.
That's 90 points! Sorry, that was a lot. Now that I'm getting 3 times the points on food and fuel with the Navy Federal More Rewards American Express card, I get a little too hyped sometimes.
Cool. Would you like your receipt?
In the bag! Sorry, in the bag, please.
Learn more about the everyday, everywhere Navy Federal More Rewards American Express card at NavyFederal.org. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
Fulton Homes is bringing legendary Fulton quality back to the West Valley. Explore 4 exceptional West Valley locations with more standard features and thousands of ways to personalize your home. Find out why people buy Fulton Homes over and over again. Fulton Homes, you're proud to own, we're proud to build.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
Hour number 2, the lunch break here on KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert with you. Before we dive into Zac Gallen and his performance last night and really his performance as of late, just a quick thank you to all of you who have been joining us, whether it's over on the YouTube side of things, watching the program, those of you who have been interacting with some of our social media content, listening to the show on the radio, on the app, just a big thank you. This is something that we started less than a year ago. It'll be our 1-year anniversary of the lunch break being a thing in October, and the growth of this show, the interaction with all of you on a regular basis. I don't think we say it enough how much we appreciate you joining us here. You've got a lot of choices of what you can do with your free time, especially when you're on your lunch break between the hours of 11 to 1. So the fact that you spend a little bit of that time with us is greatly appreciated. Diamondbacks last night fell to the Houston Astros in the opener of that series, and it was a rough one for Zac Gallen, and it has been a rough go of it for Zac Gallen a lot recently. Zac Gallen, over his last 2 starts, has allowed 6 earned runs in both of those starts, 11 innings pitched, 15 hits, 12 earned runs, 3 home runs, an ERA of 9.81 over his last 2 starts. He's allowed 5+ earned runs in 8 of his 21 starts. That's 38%. And 4 or more earned runs in 13 of his 21 starts, 62%. He's got a 5.58 ERA that is last among qualified starters in all of baseball. Shout out to our favorite Twitter account here on this program, D-Back Stats and Info, for all of those numbers. Now, producer Evan, those are not great numbers. A 5.58 ERA, not great.
Some would say bad.
A 9.81 ERA in his last 2 starts.
Not great.
5+ earned runs in 38% of his starts this season.
Not great.
4 earned runs in 62% of his starts this season. It tells me that if you're trading for Zac Gallen, you're trading him for one of 2 things. You're trading for him because of the name value of Zac Gallen. You're not trading for him based on the results from this season. Or you're trading for him because you think the Diamondbacks have screwed up somewhere. That there's something you see under the hood in the advanced numbers, the advanced metrics that go beyond the 9.81 ERA that he's had over his last 2 starts, the 3 home runs that he's allowed over his last 2 starts, having the worst ERA among qualified starters this season. You, as a team, have found something beyond that you are looking at that makes you think that Zac Gallen is fixable. We've said this, that fastball does not play the way that it played early in his career, and he still has an over-reliance on it. He will not go to something else. We thought for a little bit there that he found something that he was tweaking, right? We had the conversation about him adding a sinker to his arsenal, and we thought maybe, just maybe, this was the thing that was going to let him be less reliant on the fastball, give him something with some movement, allow him to have a different tool to use against these hitters. And it never took off the way at least I thought it did when we first kind of saw everybody talking about this. And so I just don't know what the market is for Zac Gallen. How many teams are going to run out there and trade a decent prospect for 2 months of a guy who has the worst ERA among qualified starters?
That's for a rental.
He's a rental, yes.
It feels like you kind of have to reinvent him again, right? And can you do that on a mid-season acquisition? It just doesn't feel possible.
I have long said that you do not make major wholesale changes to your roster at the deadline. You do that in the offseason. The deadline is for tinkering. The deadline is for raising the floor, increasing a little bit on the margins. These are not high-ceiling plays. And I don't think a team is going to look at Zac Gallen and say, oh, I can fix Zac Gallen, and want to do that over the course of 2 months. In a very shortened sample size, when the playoffs are at stake, when the postseason is at stake, when a World Series is potentially at stake, I think you're going to see teams be way more intrigued by the idea. I'll give you an example, right? I'm going to pick a player who had a really bad year last year, who found it a little bit in the postseason, and then was able to parlay it into some type of deal this offseason. Why wouldn't Zac Gallen be this year's Walker Buehler? Walker Buehler was with the Dodgers. Kind of lost the success that he had at the beginning of his career. Wasn't the frontline ace starter that he was early on. Was good for the Dodgers in the postseason when they needed him to be. I believe they gave him the qualifying offer. And where did he end up? He ended up on a somewhat prove-it deal, but a chance to rehab his image, work on some stuff, and he went to the Boston Red Sox. That, to me, feels like a more likely path for Zac Gallen than getting traded here at the deadline. Because, again, what is a team going to offer for a guy who in 62% of his starts this season has given up 4 earned runs? Is that going to give me a chance to win a lot of baseball games? Is he all of a sudden, out of Arizona, going to go back to being the guy that could have a sub-3.5 ERA, a sub-3 ERA, and be a Cy Young candidate? All of a sudden is going to find it in August and September? No. Is he going to be the guy that could have a sub-3 ERA and be a Cy Young candidate? All of a sudden is going to find it in August and September? No. Is he going to be the guy that could have a sub-3 ERA and be a Cy Young candidate? All of a sudden is going to find it in August and September? No. He's going to have to change his arsenal. He's going to have to change something about his game to get back to being the pitcher that he was early on in his career, that being Zac Gallen. That doesn't happen in August and September on a contender. That doesn't happen in New York under the bright lights for the New York Yankees. It doesn't work that way. Aaron Boone can't get in front of the media. Brian Cashman, the GM there in New York, can't get in front of the media and say, yeah, we got this guy. We're working on some stuff. They're going to be like, how about you work on winning some baseball games?
No, there's going to be a lot of media markets that just don't want that to deal with.
Especially,
and a lot of teams, think about some of the teams in the American League, think about some of the teams in the National League. They're going to buy a 2-month starting pitcher and change an arsenal.
Right. The teams that are trading for Zac Gallen at the deadline are teams that are trying to win, and teams that are trying to win it all because he's a rental. Those teams are not willing to take the growing pains of trying to figure things out with Zac Gallen. By the way, a player that in most situations, they're never going to have interacted with before. So you've got to learn the player. You've got to learn the player while also playing the final 2 months of a season while you're, let's use the Yankees as an example, trying to chase down the Toronto Blue Jays for the AL East. You're the Chicago Cubs trying to hold off the Milwaukee Brewers, trying to catch the Milwaukee Brewers, trying to win the National League Central. No team's going to sign up for that.
I just don't see. And even if they do sign up for it, what? They're going to give you, a top 50 prospect in their system?
You are getting right now
cash considerations, a player to be named later?
You're getting a low A or high A lottery ticket. 16, 17, 18-year-old prospect who just got to the system that is all potential, all ceiling, and the floor doesn't exist right now because you have no idea what these players are going to become. That's what you're trading for Zac Gallen. So you know what? To my earlier comment, I think I'd rather just have the compensatory pick.
100%.
I think I'd rather have the known commodity towards the back half of the first round of the MLB draft that's going to have a way higher floor than some lottery ticket in another system that I have there's a chance that the player that gets offered to me in these trade packages, I've never scouted before. Whereas I know if I take a player in the first round during the compensatory portion of the MLB draft, I've scouted that player. I know what the floor and ceiling is on that player. Much more of a known commodity. So I have pushed back against that being the way the Diamondbacks and Mike Hazen would operate. But in this case, in this instance with this player, I think I'd hold on to him.
There are situations where I feel like it's the right move. With Zac Gallen, I feel like it's the right move. And I also want to say this. They're going to have to offer him a qualifying offer.
Mm-hmm.
You might be able to get him for a pretty good bargain.
It's going to be a 1-year, $20-something million deal for the qualifying offer.
He might sign it.
Is he going to be able to do better than that qualifying offer someplace else?
If he thinks he can have a good year, why not?
Could another team offer him the same terms, right? A 1-year deal, maybe a little bit more money, and he just wants to change the scenery.
That could certainly happen. Certainly happen.
I don't know if a team's going to offer him a 3, 4, or 5-year deal.
No, I can't imagine he'll get more than a 2-year deal.
And he's just got Boris Klein.
Maybe he gets a 2-year deal with a team option. No, Boris won't have a team option, but gosh.
He's a Boris client. This could take a while.
I think they might get into spring training. He may not be signed.
He's just having such a bad year. I mean, I don't need to
so bad.
I don't need to read the numbers again. And you all have watched. You all know this. But I mean, it's not good.
The one thing with him, he's always had good off-speed stuff, but the fastball, it's never been blow it by you.
No, even when he was at his best, the fastball was a 94 mile per hour offering, and it didn't have the best pitch shape. And okay, you know what? I'll do it.
I'm a huge nerd.
It didn't have all of the fancy things that you want a fastball in today's game to have in terms of horizontal break and IVB and all those numbers, extension, right? Yeah. He was never a analytical darling with his fastball. Never was that. It was the knuckle curve that was the analytical darling of his pitch arsenal, the changeup. That stuff really played more for Zac Gallen.
But his location was always pinpoint.
Last night, his location was pinpoint right down the middle last night.
And I was going to say, and last night and the years, this year, there's just been so many games. It's like, man, he hasn't hit a spot all night. Gosh, it felt like last night he didn't hit a single spot.
Well, no, he just hit all the spots that the Astros wanted him to hit.
That's also true.
I mean, it has not been good. It has not been good for him. And also, you don't trade an asset when the value is at the bottom. Zac Gallen's
this is
value,
the least value you're ever going to get for Zac Gallen.
Yes. This is the least amount of value that you are going to get for Zac Gallen.
What? Why? I don't think you get anything.
Again, lottery ticket that is in high A or low A, and the earliest that you see that player, if they become something, is 2031.
And listen, if somebody majorly overpays, hang up the phone and say yes.
Oh, if somebody offers you more because they're buying into the name value of Zac Gallen, then yeah, you run to the league office or however you do this and you submit the paperwork. Yeah, but I just don't think that's going to happen.
Neither do I.
A 9.81 ERA over his last 2 starts. 62% of the time he's given up 4 earned runs or more. Just for just a second, everybody, be the other side of the phone call. What team that's trying to win, that's trying to compete, that's trying to win a division, trying to win a pennant, trying to win a championship, is going to look at a guy who 62% of the time allows at least 4 earned runs in a start and says, that's my guy.
That's our guy.
That's the guy that I need in my rotation that's going to put me over the top. Move out of the way, Max Fried.
Let me ask you a question.
In New York, got to have Zac Gallen at the top of my rotation. It's not happening.
Let me ask you this question.
Sure.
Could somebody move him to the bullpen?
Could somebody take Zac Gallen? This is a wild thought. This thought has never crossed my mind. Could somebody take Zac Gallen, trade for him, and use him as a reliever? No, because if you're trading for him again, you're in that bucket of teams that's trying to win. I'm not trying to experiment right now. My time for experimenting, I'll give you the perfect example. The Blue Jays did this with Jeff Hoffman. The Mets did this with Clay Holmes, former relievers. And they said, you know what? We're going to make these guys starters. We're going to make these guys, we're going to take them. We're going to lengthen them out because we think their stuff works. And we're going to make them a starter. You do that in the offseason and you work on a plan. I don't think you can do the reverse in the middle of a season with 2 months to go with your season on the line and say, you know what, Zac Gallen, you're now a reliever. I don't know how that's going to play.
It's easier to go that way.
Of the two, it is easier to make somebody a reliever and shorten them up. But, oh, by the way, once you do that, it's over. You can't then take Zac Gallen and make him a starter again. No, if you're trading for Zac Gallen, you're trading for him as a starter.
Unless your name is Ryan Nelson, in which case you can go back and forth all year.
Well, that's because the mismanagement of Ryan Nelson is it's very low on the things that went wrong for this team this season, but I think it would make it on the list, the way they handled him in the beginning part.
I think it's probably, like, if we did a list, would it make the 5?
If we did a list, would it make the 5? No, I don't think it would make the 5.
I don't either.
No, I think if we were impromptu,
could be a good segment though.
You know what? I'll play the music. We'll impromptu do this. I don't really have a huge plan here. I would put the injuries to the bullpen to
number 1
to AJ Puck and Justin Martinez number 1 because it just made Torrey's job impossible. Number 2 would be the injury to Corbin Burns. Number 3, nobody else in the bullpen being able to get an out would be number 3.
Yep.
Number 4, all of the injuries that just hit in a row to their position players. What would be number 5?
Number 5, I have one. It's the Pavin Smith. It is Alec Thomas. It's Jake McCarthy. Whoever they need one more left-handed bat.
Yeah, that's certainly
situational hitting.
They struggled with that. It was a large stretch of the year where they struggled with that, and they couldn't hit with runners in
catching position.
The catching position wasn't very good. Their defense got a little sideways there for a little bit. I mean, a lot of things went wrong.
Zach Gallen,
we didn't even mention him, right? Yeah, Ryan Nelson wouldn't make the list.
No.
Wouldn't make
I
the
don't
list.
even know if he's top 8.
No. I think if we actually really thought about it and went through the exercise, I don't think he'd be top 8. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. When we come back, the debut, we're going to do this every Tuesday between now and the Super Bowl. It's the NFL News Dump, the stories around the world of football presented by producer Evan. We'll do it next. It's the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KDUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends, celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us.
Aloha! Dreaming of sandy beaches and ocean breezes? JTV's Tropical Treasure Sweepstakes could make that dream come true. Enter for your chance to win a fabulous Hawaiian getaway for two with luxury accommodations, airfare, and spending cash. Plus, just for entering, get $30 off your next qualifying JTV purchase of at least $99 when you opt in for emails. Don't miss out. Visit jtv.com/sweeps and enter by August 3rd. JTV, where paradise awaits.
Breaking Benjamin. Stay forever. And 3 Days Grace. Live. October 8th at Desert Diamond Arena with special guest Return to Dust. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Don't miss Breaking Benjamin and 3 Days Grace, presented by the Big Red Radio.
Geico knows there's a home you and a road you. Right now you're hearing home you. He's not in an RV. He's at home, watching the great outdoors on TV.
For the lone gazelle, there sadly is no escape.
Meanwhile, road you always has an escape in an RV covered with Geico's added 24/7 emergency roadside service, so he can explore more of the great outdoors in real life. Except maybe the ravine where the gazelle got stuck. Road you should avoid that. For more road you time, get more with Geico.
Yo, happy National Chicken Finger Day, homies. Get you a free chicken finger with your Raising Cane's box combo on $7.27, you heard?
Thanks, Snoop.
Make it a perfect combo with a copy of my latest album, Is It a Crime? Streaming now.
Get one free chicken finger in each box combo. Purchase July 27th, 2025.
If you know, you go. At Superstar Car Wash, we're proud to have over 550,000 members. Be in the know and try what everyone loves today. Text SuperAZ to 27800 to get a free Super Protect car wash. Terms and conditions apply.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. Well, the majors are in the books from Augusta to Royal Portrush. The game's biggest stage is delivered. As for the golf season, it's far from over. Next up, the FedEx Cup playoffs, and more importantly, the Ryder Cup. For Team USA, the picture's starting to take shape. Scotty Scheffler, he's in. Bryson DeChambeau, looks like a sure thing. Beyond that, things get interesting. The fate of the roster now lies in the hands of Captain Keegan Bradley. He'll have big names like Xander Schauffele, Colin Morikawa, and Justin Thomas at his disposal. All proven winners, but don't sleep on the new blood. Ben Griffin, J.J. Spawn, maybe even the captain himself. Keegan's got options. What he doesn't have is margin for error. After the U.S. team's disappointing performance in Rome, redemption is the only acceptable result. The majors may crown legends. As for the Ryder Cup, well, that's where reputations are made. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. You ever go car shopping and just walk back to your old car and say, you know what? You're not so bad. Maybe a new paint job, maybe fix up those dents and dings. New car prices are going crazy now. Interest rates, prices, everything is up. Maaco can make your current ride look like new. Paint touch-ups, dent repairs, fresh bumper. It's a little like a car makeover is what it is. At Maaco, they make it easy. Come in for a free estimate, and their expert technicians will handle the rest. Quick turnaround, by the way. Real value. That's what Maaco does. And we're keeping our cars longer. So make your current ride feel new again. Before you shell out for something new, make your old look new. With Maaco's national reach and community focus, you're not just getting top-notch service. You're actually getting a partner you can trust. Go to Maaco.com today. You'll find a shop near you and book an appointment. That's Maaco, MAACO.com. And remember, better get Maaco.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh, my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
we're trying something today here on the program. It's the debut of the NFL News Dump. Every Tuesday at this time, we'll dive into the biggest stories in the NFL, the latest happenings in the NFL. And with this being the week where everybody is reporting to training camp, felt like the perfect time to debut this segment here on the program. So, we got the NFL music for this. Producer Evan has a bunch of stories, a bunch of questions that he wants to ask me about these stories. Take it away.
Phillip Rivers is retiring as a Charger.
It was really important for all of us that we made it clear that Phillip Rivers was retiring as a Charger.
Again, great run as a Colt. They made the playoffs. They almost beat the Bills. Phillip Rivers retiring from the NFL. It begs the question.
Here we go.
Is he a Hall of Famer?
Have we had a Hall of Fame conversation since you've joined the program?
I don't think we have.
So that means I have not shared with you my overall theory on how I first look at these situations. This isn't the be-all, end-all. It's just where I start, okay? I ask myself a question. Can I tell the story of that sport with or without that player?
Nailed it.
And if the answer is without, I'm sorry, I don't think you're a Hall of Famer. Now, I'm not going to stop the argument there. You just now have a bigger hurdle to clear for me. And when it comes to Phillip Rivers, I can tell the story of that era of football without even mentioning Phillip Rivers' name. Not a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, it's an interesting conversation. I always say the job of the Hall of Fame is to tell the story of the sport through its best players.
Yes.
That is its job.
Yes.
Can you do that without Phillip Rivers? He is probably the one quarterback in an era of quarterbacks that gets forgotten.
So, okay, let's play this out real quick.
And so it becomes harder, and it becomes harder to answer that question of I can't tell the story if you haven't won. And so that creates the conversation on like a Matt Ryan.
Who's the other quarterback that everybody compares Phillip Rivers to?
Dan Fouts.
Who's the other quarterback in that era that everybody compares him to when discussing the Hall of Fame?
Eli
Manning. Here's the difference. Phillip Rivers is the more talented of the two quarterbacks, right? I don't think that's a debate. I think Phillip Rivers, if I had to pick one quarterback talent-wise to win me a football game, I would pick Phillip Rivers. The reason why Eli Manning is going to get into the Hall of Fame at some point, I can't tell the story of that era of football without mentioning Eli Manning being the quarterback that led the team twice to defeating the greatest dynasty this sport has ever seen. That's the difference. That's the difference between Phillip Rivers and Eli Manning. So no, it's not just because Eli Manning has won 2 Super Bowls. It's because of who Eli Manning beat in those 2 Super Bowls. That is part of the story.
Jerry Jones, up to his old ways, he is now saying
just an absolute masterclass in how to be terrible
about Micah Parsons
as an owner.
And as an Eagles fan, I love Jerry.
Oh, you love this. This is great.
I love Jerry. And so my question is, are they going to get a deal done here?
So let's just back up. And if anyone didn't see it yesterday, Jerry Jones was asked at the beginning of training camp for the Dallas Cowboys about Micah Parsons and his contract. Now, by the way, Micah Parsons is showing up. He's participating. He's doing walkthroughs. He's there. He's more of a hold in than a hold out. But Jerry Jones stupidly decided to get in front of a podium and say that just because we pay him doesn't mean he's going to be there for us. And that Micah missed 6 games last year, was hurt for 6 games last year. And then proceeded to say, yeah, by the way, I made somebody the highest paid player in the history of the sport, talking about Dak Prescott, and he missed a large portion of time. You're in the middle of a contract negotiation. Why would you talk poorly about your best player? I mean, it's not even arguable. Micah Parsons is the best player on the Cowboys, and it's not even close. And yet you are just
maybe CeeDee Lamb.
Oh, no, it's Micah Parsons. Just unprompted, gonna just shout from the mountaintops, well, just because we pay him all this money doesn't mean he's going to be available for us. Oh, really? That's a great message to send your player. He's really going to want to fight hard for the star. He's really going to want to fight hard for the Dallas Cowboys because you are calling him injury prone and not available. What a masterclass in being awful at your job. Does the deal get done? Yes, because the Cowboys always do this. They wait until the last possible second and they overpay. The Dak Prescott contract was an overpay. It was an overpay because they waited until the last possible second. So, yes, they get a deal done.
Just about 20 minutes ago, Tyrann Mathieu has retired from the NFL, making his announcement. Is he an all-time Arizona Cardinal?
Who is Tyrann Mathieu an all-time Arizona Cardinal? Man, such a fun player. One of the best draft picks that Steve Keim was able to pull off here. Third-round pick. That was the beginning of really an era for Steve Keim where every pick he made in the third round was massive. Dale Buchanan was also a third-round pick in that era. And he picked Ty, who was at LSU and was a college kid and did some stupid stuff. And that's why he fell to the third round in a lot of ways.
He's an All-American, though.
And he came here, and he was just awesome. He was an awesome player. He was great in the community. It was just awesome. And many people were sad to see him go. They were sad to see him move on. All-time great Cardinal. I don't know enough about the history of the Cardinals, so I don't want to speak out of turn here. But I don't think so. But if you put him on the here's what I would say. If you wanted to put him on the list, I wouldn't argue with you. If you wanted to leave him off the list, I wouldn't argue with you.
Yeah. No, but totally an enthralling
Great player.
And you said very exciting. Couldn't agree more. Shamar Stewart. Speaking of exciting, we got fireworks over at the Bengals camp again. Shamar Stewart has still not signed with the Cincinnati Bengals after being their first-round pick. And Mike, how does this get resolved?
Speaking of stupid things an owner has said, Mike Brown was talking about Shamar Stewart and was explaining to everybody what was going on here, and proceeded to share that they want to be able, that he wants to be able to, that if Shamar Stewart goes to jail, he doesn't want to pay Shamar Stewart. He believes that if Shamar Stewart does something that's conduct detrimental to football, that he should be able to not pay him. Now, by the way, Shamar Stewart hasn't done anything wrong. Shamar Stewart hasn't even put a situation in front of the Cincinnati Bengals to where they would even need to consider this. So that's the problem, Mike. That's the problem. Is I am not going to agree to something that is a hedge on something that hasn't even happened yet. This is ridiculous. And honestly, I don't see this getting resolved.
I don't either.
The Bengals don't want to remove this language. Mike Brown told you how he feels about this. He's the owner. So unless somebody changes his mind, this isn't the GM who wants to do this. This is the owner who is sticking to his guns on this one. So no, I think Shamar Stewart is going to sit this one out. If only this Cincinnati had another problem on their hands they were dealing with a player who was threatening to sit out.
The Bengals just can't get out of their own way.
Don't worry, Joe Burrow. You're going to have a great defense next season, though. Things are going to work out really well for you next year.
You're going to have to score 45 points a game.
No, because they did that last year, and they still missed the playoffs because they got off to a slow start. Why? Because their defense stunk.
And I stand by this. Why they didn't fire the defensive coordinator the minute they lost to Washington. If you go a game, Chris, where you don't get a defensive stop, and the only defensive stop you got all game was to hold them to a field goal inside the red zone, they scored on every drive except one where they kicked the field goal.
Oh, you don't need to tell me. I watch these games. I sit there. I watch Red Zone. Me and Scott Hansen.
Don't let them get his stuff out of the locker room. Out. Now,
you don't make it to the team plane.
Nope. See ya. Find your way home.
And I'm not a huge fan of Zach Taylor as a coach either.
Neither am I. Will Levis officially getting shoulder surgery. Is Cam Ward just going to get it to start from the get-go?
Was Tim Boyle going to start for him? I mean, we don't really have a lot of other options here. So, yeah, Cam Ward, you were taken with the number 1 overall pick. You're getting thrusted right in there, buddy. Have fun. Enjoy. Weird timing on this, no?
Weird timing.
Why he's getting this surgery right now?
Can I be honest with you?
Sure.
I think that they believe...
In fact, let me stop you. In fact, I would always prefer that you were honest with me because on this program, I believe in transparency and honesty with the listeners, so I would rather you not lie to me. But yes, please continue.
Just to say. But I think that from internally in that locker room, they have told him it's going to be Cam Ward's job to lose. And so then he was like, I'll just get shoulder surgery.
Yeah, but he should have known that when they drafted him, that Cam Ward was going to be the starter.
Somehow he just found out.
That's bad on his part then. Because let me tell you, the moment they submitted the card.
This is the guy who threw one of the worst interceptions I've ever seen and then was hands on his helmet. He couldn't believe it.
I don't know which one you're referring to because he's had a bunch of them. Is it it's the one against the Bears, isn't it?
Yeah.
on the sideline, throws it across his body.
Is he still going to be on the Mayo commercials?
I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be on the Mayo commercials.
That's a big question.
I was with somebody who tried the Mayo in coffee one time.
Oh.
It was not as bad as he thought it was going to be. That was the reaction he made. I wouldn't do it. I don't even drink coffee. But he did it as somebody who likes coffee.
Well, in theory, here's my thought. What's in mayo?
I don't know. I don't consume mayo.
Yeah, it's just oil. So olive oil, egg yolk, vinegar or lemon juice.
In theory, that shouldn't be terrible to put in your coffee.
It shouldn't be terrible.
But the idea of it is extremely terrible.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel like it'd be good in coffee at all.
No. Is that everything?
No, we got one more.
Okay.
The Athletic ranked the Cardinals 22nd in their preseason rankings.
I mean, this is what I'm talking about, everybody. This is what I just keep saying. Nobody has a good feel for what the Arizona Cardinals are this season. Nobody in the national media knows what they want to do with the Arizona Cardinals. They're just not sure. Yesterday, I said it just means they have to prove it. This team's going to have to go out there and change everybody's mind one game, 1 week at a time. Because 17th in the ESPN story, 22nd here, and in the blurb, the Athletic story mentions that they're not going to be a playoff team, that they don't think. And by the way, them ranking them 22nd was down 2 spots from where they ranked them a year ago to where they ranked them 20th. So they think they're going to be a worse team than they were a year ago. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I would say a very successful first edition of the NFL News Dump here on the lunch break. We'll continue to do that every Tuesday at 12:15. You want to join the conversation here today on the program, 480-864-1060 is your way to do so, or join us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. When we come back, we all want to move on desperately. We'd like to move on, turn the page, start the new chapter. Just doesn't look like it's going to be that easy. That's next, the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. Here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Summer's here, and SRP wants to remind you that swim safety starts with W. That's right, W, as in Water Watcher. Keep pool time a good time by designating an adult who can swim and know CPR. Be sure they avoid distractions, always scan the swimming area, and ensure that the pool gate stays locked. Assigning a Water Watcher is a simple step to help prevent drownings and keep everyone safe around pools. To get more water safety tips, visit srp.net/pool.
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Phoenix. Footprint Center, Saturday, August 2nd. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. It's about to get heavy. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
Hey, it's Pat. The other day at work, they brought in pizza for lunch. So I swooped in and I grabbed 3 slices. The coworker next to me said, "Geez, Pat, you can't have it all." Then I corrected him and said, "Yeah, I can. And you can too. With a new 2025 Toyota truck. Power and performance, capability and reliability." Well, I must have convinced him because he grabbed the plate out of my hand and he said, "Good point, Pat."
Right now, get low 1.99% financing for 72 months on a new 2025 Tundra. Or get 4.99% 60-month financing on Camry, Corolla, RAV4, and Grand Highlander. Plus, check out great lease deals on any new Toyota. Visit your Valley Toyota dealer or valleytoyotadealers.com today. Toyota, let's go places. 1.99% with $14.75 per thousand borrowed for 72 months. 4.99% with $18.87 per thousand borrowed for 60 months. Offers end 8/4/25 and exclude TRD Pro models. See dealer for details.
It's time to talk Grizzly.
The air conditioner made specifically for Arizona summers.
Alaskan AC introduced the Grizzly a couple years ago, and the reviews are pouring in.
This one says, "I love how quiet it is. I can hardly hear it come on, but I'm always comfortable."
Another person writes, "Finally, an air conditioner that can withstand the desert heat and dust."
This one says, I like its fluffy fur and cute black nose.
Anyway, if it's time to upgrade your AC, you can't do better than the Grizzly.
Only available at Alaskan AC.
People love it.
Like this person who said, we live in an older home and the Grizzly keeps us comfortable in every room.
Or this guy. We live just outside of town and the dust is horrible. Glad we have an AC that can take it.
Or this one. He's so cuddly and has these adorable pads on his paws.
Gary, I think you're on a different webpage.
Gary, I think you're different.
Learn more about the Grizzly at AlaskanAC.com.
James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. right here on KTUS AM 1060 and on the KTUS 1060 app.
I'll tell you, I found myself pretty frustrated this morning. Because it was just last week, maybe the week before, where I said that now that the Phoenix Suns have bought out Bradley Beal, they're actually into their next chapter. The page has officially been turned. We don't have to look backwards anymore. This is a new era of Phoenix Suns basketball, right? I said that because I believed it. I believed that until Kevin Durant was gone and until the buyout of Bradley Beal was made official, that this team was still stuck in the past. They were still connected to the past. They can change the GM. They can change the coach. They can change some of the players out. But those two still being here, still being connected to this squad just made it that they were stuck in that last era. So when Kevin Durant got traded, great first step. There's still one more move to be made. And then they moved Bradley Beal. They bought him out. That felt like we could all breathe the sigh of relief that, yes, their championship window with that group closed, slammed shut. It's going to be a little bit, but we just feel like things are going in the right direction. And it felt like we all were going to be able to move on. Well, I was reminded this morning that it's not going to be that easy. That the Phoenix Suns are still going to be the butt of some jokes. They still are going to be remembered for their failings. Because an ESPN story this morning ranked the worst move that every team has made since 2020. So over the last 5 years. And it will shock none of you that the number 2 move, only outdone by the Dallas Mavericks, trading Luka Doncic, was the Phoenix Suns, and not just their trade for Kevin Durant, but their trade for Bradley Beal. Now, I think it's unfair to lump those 2 moves together. If I had to pick just one of the moves that I think was more of the disaster, it's Bradley Beal, and it's not even close. I think if they would have not traded Chris Paul and they would have tried to make some tweaks to their roster, I think that this team could have won a championship. I do think they were close. I do think it was possible. Once you traded for Bradley Beal, once you traded for that contract, once you traded for the no trade clause, you locked yourself in and you saw very quickly that this wasn't going to work. But here I am again, being somewhat of a hypocrite because I want to move on. I'm ready. I'm part of
the alignment.
Brian Gregory, I'm in. I spent this morning in the pre-show meeting watching an 11-minute video that the Suns put out today, behind the scenes of their war room, their draft room for night 1 and night 2. And you know what? Boy, do I love Brian Gregory a lot more. And I've already turned a corner on him before seeing this video. But there's a moment where they're debating what to do in the second round. And it even stopped producer Evan in his tracks while he was putting together either buy or sell or the leftovers or something. He stopped and made me reverse the video to hear it again. But Brian Gregory and the Suns are debating on what to do in the second round. And Brian Gregory, and in the video, Matt Ishbia is right there, and I think Josh Bartelstein's in the clip as well. But he says, I'm the GM. We're taking Kobe Bryant. We're taking the best shooter left. We're taking an elite shooter with this pick. But just him saying, I'm the GM. This is my call, my team. This is who we're taking. I loved it. I loved seeing the way Brian Gregory operated. I don't want to be a hypocrite. I don't want to keep looking backwards because I said that it was time to look forward. I said that it was time to focus on Brian Gregory, on Jordan Ott, on this young cast of players that they have put together. And by the way, if you haven't seen the 11-minute video that the team put out today, highly recommend it. It's going to give you a totally different appreciation for what this team did during the draft.
It's an awesome watch.
Awesome. I mean, these draft behind-the-scenes videos have really taken off over the last couple of years. I know everybody still, rants and raves about the year one Monty of him maneuvering all on draft night, moving back and forth, doing just all those trades, feeling like he was in his comfort zone in the chaos. I'll tell you, Brian Gregory looked comfortable operating on draft night.
Certainly did.
Looked like he was in command. He was in control. He was the guy steering this team through that draft. I loved it. I don't want to talk about the Phoenix Suns having the second worst move out of all of the teams in the NBA since 2020. I don't want to rehash the trades for Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal. We know it didn't work out. We know complete disaster. That, by the way, because of the way they're doing the buyout, they're going to still pay the repercussions for the next 5 seasons. Not just the next 2, but for 3 more after that. I get it. But I want to move forward. I don't want to be frustrated that we're being dragged back to the past. And so maybe today I wanted to bring up this story. I wanted to talk about it because it could be my way of just being done, of moving on and saying I'm not going to talk about this stuff anymore. But it just feels like it's not going to be as easy to move on as we all thought it was going to be, or as easy as I tried to make it out to be last week. That Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal are gone. We're never going to utter their names again. We are never going to look back and talk about those moves ever again. It is full steam ahead towards the future. Doesn't look like it's going to be that easy. But yeah, only beaten out by the Dallas Mavericks and the trading of Luka Doncic as the worst move in the NBA since 2020. 480-864-1060, the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. We've got one more before we are out of here and hand things off to Jim Rome, the top of the hour. It's the leftovers. All the stories we didn't get to throughout the course of the program. We'll get to them next. It's the lunch break. KDUS, AM 1060.
Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Stevie Nicks. One special night, October 7th, PHX Arena. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Stevie Nicks live at PHX Arena.
Every day, savings, energy efficiency, rebates. Every day at APS, you have ways to save energy and money. We know how important it is to keep your bill as low as possible. That's why we offer programs to help you manage your energy use. Schedule a home energy checkup for savings recommendations tailored to your home. Find rebates on smart thermostats. Compare your rate plan options and switch to the plan that would have saved you the most money. Find ways to save at aps.com/brighter.
Summer Playfest has arrived at Harris Auction Casino. This summer, win your share of $600,000 in prizes with Caesars Rewards. Plus, join us as live bands light up the stage all season long. Then stay and play for less with our buy one, get one half off hotel rates. So stay, play, and get rewarded all summer during Summer Playfest. Only at Harris Auction Casino. Play for all. You must be 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700 or 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Visit the Caesars Rewards Center for details.
Global Credit Union, how can I help you?
It's one of those voice prompts.
Representative! Good morning. How can I help?
Wait, is this a real person?
It's 2 a.m.
We're here to help members 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Impossible.
At Global, possible. Learn more at globalcu.org. Global Credit Union, your world of financial possibilities.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KTUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends, celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us.
Back to wrap up today's edition of the program. Appreciate you joining us here today on the show. It's the leftovers, all the stories that we did not get to throughout the course of the program, and with buy or sell and the NFL news dump and all the other stuff that we've done here today, I'm very intrigued to see what has made the leftovers today here on the program.
Well, I've kind of made this a uniform news leftovers over the last 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, we talked about the Steelers. We didn't get into two things. First of all, did you know that the MLB was playing a game at a racetrack?
This is the Indy Motor Speedway Series, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. They did this last year.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Who played?
Who played in the game last year? I believe the Atlanta Braves did.
Well, the Braves are playing again. They're playing the Reds. And they released jerseys with them.
Oh, I did not know that we were getting special
Yeah,
jerseys.
so we got special jerseys. We got flames on the hat. They're race jerseys, I don't know how else to describe them other than they look, they're trying to do race cars.
Mm-hmm.
The coolest part about them is they did like the car style numbers on the back of the jerseys, and they look nice.
All right, hold on, because now you know what I have to do now. This is not great for the audio audience, but now I have to look up these jerseys.
No, they're super nice. They have like the car style numbers on the back that are pretty cool. The hats, to me, terrible. Like can't see anybody other than like an 8-year-old actually buying this hat. But they're fun.
Oh,
they're fun for the night, for the weekend.
I do love the numbers.
Yeah, the numbers are cool.
Yeah, those are really cool.
Okay. Also, this kind of sparked a conversation in my head when you had mentioned it earlier. I want to touch on this. You said the trade deadline is the time to tinker your team. You can't rebuild it.
Correct.
Right? Correct. I think a lot of people agree with you on that. So then I was thinking, what are the 5 biggest trade deadline moves ever?
Okay.
And so I Googled it.
You did the work.
I did the work.
Or you're going to let AI do the work.
No, so I have it here. Here's the list.
Okay.
So at number 1 is the Angels get Mark Teixeira. Number 2, the big unit heads to Houston. Randy Johnson heads to Houston in 1998. Number 3 is CC Sabathia's trade to the Brewers in 2008.
He was unbelievable once he got there. Unbelievable.
He was unbelievable.
It was insane, the run that he went on.
I encourage anybody to not know, who doesn't know about that run, to look up the numbers.
Just on video game numbers. It was insane how good he was.
Number 4, same year, is Manny Wood. Manny Ramirez gets traded to the Dodgers. He was also unbelievable as a Dodger.
He, as a Dodger, hit a home run that I can still remember where he golfed one out of Wrigley Field. He basically hit one off the dirt out to Wrigley Field. One of the coolest home runs I've ever seen.
And number 5 is Yoenis Cespedes
Aha.
to the Mets in July 31st.
And that's just because after he got there, the only time he would make an out is when he wasn't hitting a home run. I mean, he hit a home run basically every other day. I mean, it was insane how good he was.
The other ones, honorable mentions: Juan Soto to the Padres in 22.
Okay.
Max Scherzer and Trey Turner to the Dodgers in 21.
That was a blockbuster.
Andrew Miller to Cleveland in 2016. And Aroldis Chapman to the Cubs in 2016.
So in 2008, the Cleveland Indians at the time traded CC Sabathia to the Brewers. When they traded him, he was 6-8 with a 3.83 ERA. He had started 18 games for them, just make sure I have these numbers correct. He had 3 complete games and 2 shutouts in those 18 starts with Cleveland. In the 17 games that he started with the Brewers, he went 11-2 with a 1.65 ERA, 7 complete games, and 3 shutouts. He was absurd when he got to Milwaukee, and then parlayed that into the success that he had with the New York Yankees.
My whole kind of point with this story, though.
And by the way, we're getting corrected. This is the first year that they're doing the game at Indy Motor Speedway. Maybe that's why I thought that it had happened previously, because I knew about it previously. I thought they did one last year, but apparently this is the first time they're doing it.
But what's interesting is this is a list of the top 5 moves, and we got 5 honorable mentions.
Okay.
10 total moves. One of those teams won the World Series.
So
that was Chapman in 2016.
This goes back to my point that the big move doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to win it all.
No.
Did anybody think at the time that when the Dodgers traded for Tommy Edman, that was just going to be a huge deal and take them over the top? It was great for them in the postseason. Great.
Let's look at it. Like, Tommy Edman was awesome for them last year. Probably was a huge piece in why they won the World Series. Some of the ones that I can't think of, but off the top of my head, Soler and Jock Peterson weren't huge names at the deadline in Atlanta when they added them in 21. They were the piece that put them over the mountain there.
Yeah.
I mean, Steve Pearce in 2018 won the World Series MVP, but couldn't get him out in a 5-game series.
I mean, when you look at what teams just do at the deadline, it's tinkering, it's tweaking. It's not getting crazy and going over the top and making these big grandiose moves. You want to make those moves, you do that in the offseason. You do that via free agency. You do that via a big trade in the winter meetings. Like, you don't do that in the middle of a season. You've got 2 months to get that player up to speed, to get them in the lineup or in the rotation or in the bullpen, and get them up to speed with how you do things compared to how things were done in the past. And then there's the pressure of, I was a trade deadline acquisition and I've got to help this team.
Yeah.
Just the smaller moves sometimes and sometimes the best moves are the ones you don't make.
Kind of a crazy night in baseball last night. Did you see how the Phillies won the baseball game?
On the walk-off catcher's interference in extra innings? Yes,
that hasn't happened in 54 years, 1971.
By the way, we're being corrected once again, since we're getting this wrong all over the place. It is not at Indy Motor Speedway. It's at Bristol Motor Speedway. Is apparently where these games are being played. I'm just telling you what the chat's telling me.
Are you a racing fan?
Am I a racing fan?
You
No, my
NASCAR
father-in-law
fan?
loves NASCAR, loves it. I am more of an F1 guy.
I like F1. I like the show. I don't really watch it.
A Drive to Survive?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good show.
It is.
Yeah, Bristol Motor Speedway, August 2nd.
Okay. Bristol Motor Speedway.
August 2nd. We need to be accurate here on the program, so when we need to be corrected.
That's like next week.
No, that is next Thursday is going to be the trade deadline. Yes, it's next weekend.
Yeah.
So not this weekend, but next weekend the series will take place.
Touched on it in buy or sell, but the Brewers have won 11 straight. Are kind of rolling right now. You said it in buy or sell. They just feel like this is a classic Brewers tale, but they have officially passed the Cubs in the National League.
It's just hard to just think that they're going to actually do it this time, right? It's like in, what is it? Lucy taking the football from Charlie Brown?
Yeah.
Like they're going to pull they're going to pull the football out from underneath me if I buy into them again.
It feels, and I hate to make this comparison because I'm a Josh guy. Feels like the Bills.
They were up 2-0 on the Mets in the wild card series. I'm sorry. They were up in game.
I was going to say they were up 1-0 up in game 2.
They were up in game 2. They lost that game. Then in game 3, they were up 2-0 in the top of the 9th.
Yeah,
2 outs.
Did Pete Alonso
hits the home run. And
did 2 outs or 1 out?
Believe there were 2 outs.
Okay. They got the leadoff walk, right?
Yes.
So leadoff walk.
And then somebody else got on, and then Pete hits the 3-run homer to make it 3-2.
Yeah. And then they win the game.
Insane. They tack on some insurance, I think, too. I think they don't win 3-2. I think they win like 4-2.
That sounds right. I think it was 4-2, yeah. Wall scraper of a home run for Pete.
Knew it too. Moment left.
I know. I can't. I'll be honest with you. It felt like it got off over the wall by like less than a foot.
But he knew it,
and he knew it.
He knew he got it.
Yeah,
he laughs when he throws the bat after. It's insane. I've never seen anything like it.
Rich Hill has joined the Kansas City Royals.
We're going to keep it that way. We're just going to refer to him as Rich Hill here on the program.
Rich Hill.
We're not going to use his nickname.
Was not going to use his nickname.
I appreciate that. I just wanted to make sure that we were on the same page there.
Has joined the Kansas City Royals Major League squad. That's fun. But what's more fun about it is this is his 14th team now, which matches the all-time record.
And the all-time record belongs to, I believe it's Edwin Jackson.
I think so, too.
Former Diamondback legend. Threw a no-hitter for the Diamondbacks.
He did. 15 years ago yesterday.
He threw 138 pitches or something like that?
In Tampa.
Yeah, it was in Tampa against the Rays. He threw a no-hitter that was a lot of pitches. I don't know if it was 138 specifically.
So Tampa got no hit by Edwin Jackson that year, and also Dallas Braden threw a perfect game against them.
Was that the same year?
That's a tough year, both in 2010.
If those two things happened the same year, yes, that is a tough year. That is going to do it for us here on the Tuesday edition of the program. Jim Rome, he's coming up next. Producer Evan, thank you for all that you do. Everybody, have a great rest of your Tuesday. We'll talk to you tomorrow. See ya!